Hello, welcome to my channel. I know I haven't been offline for a while, and thank you for all your kind messages and checking up on me. I really appreciate that. Someone asked if I was still in life, and I laughed so hard every day, my dear, every day. But seriously, I miss creating these videos for you guys. If you have been wondering where I have been, this is where. And I have been trying and working on creating pillar candles and other things and getting really frustrated. Pillar candles are candles that don't need a container to stand on, so they can stand on their own when you burn them. Would it be easier to just buy these candles from the store? Yes, but where is the fun in that? If you know me, you know I derive joy and the occasional headache from making things from scratch. When I start learning something, it occupies every cell in my brain till I get a good handle on it. It becomes sort of an obsession. I wasn't sure if you guys would be interested in a video like this, but I was also aware of how long I have been offline. So I will try and keep you guys up to date on what I have been up to and my stories. When I started candle making, I thought all I needed to do was melt wax, put a wick on it, and call it a day. And call it a day. Oh boy, that was far from it. I was not prepared for the amount of research, patience, and experimentation that is involved in candle making. It's an art form and a science. If you put too big of a wick on it, it creates soot. And if you put too small of a wick on it, it drowns the wick and it wouldn't burn hot enough for the candle wax to melt. I started my first set of candles in the basement, and that was a terrible idea. It was too cold for me and it was too cold for the candles. I mean, I know that I didn't like the cold in the basement, but I didn't realize the candles didn't like cooling in such a cold environment. Because of that, the outside of the candles were cooling too quick, and when it came time to take the candles out of the mold, bits and pieces of wax were flying all over the place. I'm not even joking. I had to stop and I had to stop demolding it and start sweeping the floor because there was so much wax everywhere. So I had to go back and do more research to figure out what is the right temperature to melt, pour, and cool different types of waxes for different purposes. But I think I have gotten a good wax mixture and routine for what I need. So this is my setup. I'm going to give you a little tour of my setup and describe what each tool does. So this is my setup. Over here I have a wax melter. Um, I use this because you melt the wax faster than if I was doing it on the stove, and you can keep it at a set temperature so I can pour as much candles as I can from the same wax melt before it starts cooling and hardening up. Um, Here I have and then I have this, which is a heat gun, and I use that for melting the top of the wax in case there's any imperfections on the top and I want to smooth it out after the candle is done cooling. So it's really handy. And here I have candle molds. So I have this plastic one, uh, and I have a shorter one. It's the same design. And then I also have a silicone one. I had to cut it along here because it makes it easier to take the candle out of this mold. And what else do I have? I have some bits and pieces like a mug. Should I call this a mug? A jug that I put the wax in after I'm done melting it. So like I pour the wax from the wax melter and then use that to fill in the candle molds. I also have a couple of these metal things that I use for holding the wick on top of the mold so that the wick doesn't fall back into the wax. And speaking of wicks, I have a couple of wicks that where did I buy from? You can buy it from Amazon. So so that's pretty much the gist of what's on this table. Other stuff like scissors, a random piece of wood that I use for stirring the wax. Uh, Let me give you a close up of the wax melter so you understand how it works. So this is the wax melter. It has a faucet for pouring out the melted wax, which is what I pour into this stainless steel jug. And then over here it has a switch. So when it's still heating up the wax, it has this indicator turned on. And then when it reaches the set temperature, it turns on the keep warm. And that's when I start pouring it. And then on the inside, I have some leftover wax from the last time I melted it. I think it's really handy and neat. It helps make this candle making go quicker. Before we start, I will need to make myself a drink. You know, for some liquid courage. I have some floor protection. I have measured out the amount of wax I need to add to the wax melter. I am using a mixture of beeswax and soy wax. Then I pour the wax mixture into the wax melter to get the magic started. I will be melting the wax at 190 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 88 degrees Celsius. You can hear the wax cracking and melting. While the wax is melting, I would start prepping the molds. I am using an old makeup brush and olive oil to lightly grease the inside of the plastic molds so that the candle can come out easier. I also occasionally stir the wax to make sure it's melting evenly. Then I would continue prepping the molds by adding the wick to the molds. I use a couple of rubber bands to hold the silicone mold in place so that the wax wouldn't leak out from where I cut it on the side. The wax is done melting and has reached the specified 180 degrees Fahrenheit. I will be adding a lemon fragrance oil. I like the way it smells. Reminds me of candy. I don't add a lot. I know online say to add 6% of the total wax amount, but I found that was too strong and it burned my nose, so I only add a small amount because I want just a little. I will be using these metal pieces to keep the wick from falling into the wax. Next thing I do is gently tap the sides of the molds to get rid of any bubbles that might be in the wax. And now we wait for it to cool. It usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cool, and I like to check in on it before then to make sure everything looks good. But in the meantime, we're gonna check out on these visitors in the yard. Wow, can you believe it's spring already? So excited to see all the new blooms and for warm weather. Speaking of spring, we also have signs of spring and blooming indoors. A lot has been growing and popping up in this room, which I am very grateful for all the sun that comes into it. We have been busy getting our seedlings ready for planting in the garden. The peas got a little wild, so we had to find a way to support them till they are ready to be moved outside. This was just the roots of a celery that I stuck in water, and look how well it's doing. Such a beautiful geranium. Okay, back to candle making. As you can see, there's a dent on the top because the wax shrank from the top and that created that. So I will fix that with the heat gun. Then I'll pour some more wax on it to make sure the top is level. Time to unmold. I am going to unmold this silicone one away from the camera so that I can focus on it. I find it so much harder to mold than the plastic one. But basically, you peel it back like an orange and pray the candle comes out with all the pieces intact. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be over here making more candles. I look forward to sharing more stories with you. Till next time, bye.